I'm so excited. Are you guys so excited? Like, curriculum is like my jam, you guys. I love teaching my kids. I love finding new and exciting curriculum to try. But I'm so excited. So excited. Hey guys, I am so pumped right now because I'm going to be sharing with you a new math curriculum. It's very new to me. I think it's new-ish in general. So I think it's been out for a couple of years, but I am so excited to try this with my first grader. I am like, I can barely stand it. I wanted to just start doing math like in the evening last night after we got this in the mail. But we did not. We're starting it today. But before we do that, I thought I would give you guys a quick like flip through and first impressions of this curriculum because I already looked at it for just a second. Obviously, I've watched videos and reviews and stuff on it. But looking at it, physically looking at the book, I am so excited. And I don't think there's that many videos here on YouTube that give you like a little bit of a flip through of this curriculum, at least not for the level 1. So I am so excited to do that for you guys and just give my first impressions. This is the Beast Academy. I have it's Beast Academy 1A and 1B right now. I'm pretty sure the rest of the levels have like a guidebook and a practice book, but level 1 is all together, which is nice because it probably makes it more affordable. There's also a C and D. I did not purchase that because I just wasn't quite sure if I'm going to like this or not. I think I'm going to love it. I really do now that I'm physically seeing it in person. But I do want to try it out first, and you know, it'll take us a little bit to get through these first 2 books, so I don't have to run and buy it, but it is a better deal to buy all 4. And so I want to give you guys this flip through so that maybe you can make a better decision on whether you want to just go ahead and buy all 4. It is also a better deal to buy 2 of them though. So I got mine off Amazon. I will link it down below. To buy just one, it's like 40 bucks. And then I think to buy these 2, it was 70. So it's a little bit better of a deal to buy them as a package. And then to buy all 4 is like 100 and something. So I don't know if it's necessarily a better deal to buy all 4 at once as it is to just buy 2 at once, but it was a better deal than buying just 1, if that makes sense. So anyway, I also wasn't sure what level my first grader would be. This is my Jack. He's 4 years old. He's going into kindergarten in the fall. He's a super sweet guy. Aren't you, buddy? Okay, so I wasn't sure which one to start with. I knew that he was not beyond B, but I wasn't quite sure if, you know, he should be doing the 1A because it is, like, the way it describes it, it says that it's chapter 1, so it has 3 chapters. Chapter 1 is counting, chapter 2 is shapes, and chapter 3 is comparing. My first grader is a great counter. Like, he has no problems with that. He knows his shapes and stuff, and so I was like, I don't know, that's probably too easy, but I thought, you know, I'm just going to buy it just in case because I've heard this curriculum is a little bit challenging and just a different way of thinking. It calls it I guess maybe this is the company, by art of problem solving. It is more of like a logic problem solving type math curriculum, which I really, really like because that's a little bit different than what we're used to. So since it is different than what we're used to, I do think we are going to start with the 1A and give that a shot. And if it's too easy, we can always just stop and move on to 1B. And then I can always save this for that guy back there when he's in first grade or whenever he is ready for this type of curriculum. But I am so excited, you guys. It is like really pretty. It is a comic book based curriculum. Which, okay, I have to say this real quick, and then I will turn the camera around and show you guys inside of these bad boys. Are you leaving?
I'm going to.
One point I want to make really quickly about this curriculum that I just thought about, because I've been talking about the Good and the Beautiful a lot recently because I've kind of like left their curriculum behind. And one thing I will say to compare the two, which maybe I should do a full-on comparison video if you guys are interested in that. I do want to compare the Good and the Beautiful and Math with Confidence. I plan on doing that. So maybe I can add this one in there as well. So one thing I've noticed is that I think the Good and the Beautiful, now I have boys. I have 3 boys and 1 little girl, my daughter. She's only 2. So I haven't started schooling her yet. And you know, she's pretty young, but it seems to me that the Good and the Beautiful, since it is so sweet and pretty and like aesthetically pleasing in like a girly kind of way, I feel like that might be more appealing to girls. And then this curriculum, I feel like might be more appealing to little boys because it's like a comic book. And I'm not saying that girls wouldn't be interested in it. I do think I will probably, if I end up loving this, try this with my daughter at some point. But if you're trying to get your kid excited about math, I do think that this is a curriculum that will appeal to little boys. Like, it's just the comic book style. I think it has like some comedy, like funny stuff, which little boys, if you have boys, you know, they love funny. So anyway, I just really think, and just the look, you know, the way it looks, it's a little bit cartoony, but it feels like kind of like characters that boys would be into. That makes sense. Without further ado, I'm gonna flip the camera around and just give you guys a little flip through and some of my first impressions as we flip through it. I'm so excited. Are you guys so excited? Like, curriculum is like my jam, you guys. I love teaching my kids. I love finding new and exciting curriculum to try. And this is probably not the only math curriculum we will do. I will say that, but I'll talk about that in other videos. But I'm so excited. So excited. Okay, so I'm going to start with 1A, give you guys a little bit of a flip through and some of my first impressions, and then we'll do a little bit of 1B. Okay, so it has a really nice, like, floppy, firm, smooth cover. I really like. I feel like it's good quality. And the paper is, you know, it's kind of thin, but it works. So this one says that it does counting, shapes, and comparing. Those are the chapters. So, it says it's a comprehensive, rigorous, and engaging curriculum for aspiring math beasts. So it has level 1 to level 5, it looks like. I have level 1A. 1A, you have counting, shapes, and comparing. 1B, addition, subtraction, and categories. 1C, addition and subtraction, comparing, and patterns. And then 1D, big numbers, measurement, and problem solving. And so then, for example, I won't read them all, but for level 2A, place value, comparing and addition. B, subtraction, expressions, problem solving. C, measurement, strategies, odds and evens. D, big numbers, algorithms, problem solving. Okay, when does it get to multiplication? Okay, so it looks like level 3, which probably they're considering 3rd grade, is when it gets to multiplication in the B book, and then division in the C book, and fractions in D. Okay, so it takes some time you have to get through, which is most curriculum. I do think we will be doing multiplication though. Like, I don't want to wait because my son is already on level 2, and so he will move of like the Good and the Beautiful and Math with Confidence. He's on level 2 and he's in 1st grade, so he'll move on to level 3 with, you know, the Good and the Beautiful or Math with Confidence. And then I think we will also do this curriculum, but we will stick with, like, do level 1 and level 2 because it is so different. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but I don't know. We will see how things go. So that is that. And then here's the table of contents if you just want a quick look at that. All right, so then this I thought was so funny and cute. It talks about like the different characters, and this one just cracked me up. I showed this on my Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you want like sneak peeks of curriculum I get in the mail and stuff, because I always can't help myself and show it on my stories. So this says, this is Lizzie, reads a lot, carries backup books in case of a reading emergency. Alex, very organized, always has 10 pencils in his pouch unless I need to borrow one. I was always the kid needing to borrow the pencil or the gum. I was always the mooch. Anyway, so I just think that's cute and funny, which is something that, you know, kids like, boys especially, I think like funny. So anyway, this is kind of how the comic book looks. And then it goes into chapter 1, which is counting. Okay, so then it goes on to the comic book. So this is focusing on counting. So it's saying like stop and count like the cereal on the spoon and stuff. And so yeah, that's pretty easy. And I'll show you guys in a minute like some more counting it has. That's pretty easy. But I mean, it's a small spoon. There's quite a bit of cereal on there. It does it in a different way. So even though my child knows how to count and he's in first grade, I think like focusing and like really getting your attention on something like that, it's a little bit more challenging, which I like. So it says, hi, I'm Elizabeth, but everyone just calls me Lizzie. I'm Alex. We were in the same swim class in the summer. Oh yeah, you were good. So I like how they, you know, they have swim class and stuff. It's pretty relatable. Okay, and so this I actually liked and thought that my first grader could benefit from. Now we'll see if it's just way too easy and drives them crazy. But what they have them do, I've never seen this in The Good and the Beautiful or Math with Confidence. I have not seen this where for counting, for example, so here are the numbers 1 through 20, number the triangles below to count how many there are, like this example here. And so as you number them, it says there are 16 triangles. You can number them in any order and still get the same amount as long as you only write one number in each triangle. So I like how it kind of explains the concept very simply and quickly, but in like a really thorough and good way. So that helps me as the teacher. And just helps me think of it in different way, like different ideas. And there's a good amount of like practice problems. Like I would say there's a lot more practice problems in this book than there is in The Good and the Beautiful Math or Math with Confidence even. So it might be too much for some people and you might need to like split up the lessons, especially if you're doing this as like an extra curriculum. And then another way that they have them counting is, they say for these problems, instead of numbering everything, count out loud or in your head as you circle or check the things you're counting. Careful, if you lose track, you may need to erase and start over. So then it gives an example of how to do that and then some problems to do. I like that as well because I do notice like kids, even my first grader who can count very easily, he gets impatient when he's trying to count things and he skips things. And I'm never quite sure, like I don't feel like my other curriculums have given me the tools of how to like teach him to slow down. Like this is such a simple idea, but I don't always think of it and my curriculum doesn't always say to do that. So this is just, these are two tools that they are giving the kids to help them be better like counters of multiple things. So I really, really like that. I think that's cool. So lots of practice. Counting one more, one less. Try to solve these without counting. So that's really cool. I like that. And then it goes into more of the comic book, which if you guys want to like pause it and read it, you can do that. I'm not going to read it to you guys. But just if you want to get a feel for the comic book, you can pause it. So it has, you know, a good amount of reading, which either if your kid is a good reader or you just rather them read it to themselves, they could read it. First grader could probably read this. I think it would be fun to read it to or with my son. Just, you know, something for us to do together. I like to do things with him, especially at this age still. Okay, so now this, they use a lot of like dice or die or whatever. And I really like that because it just makes so much sense. And other curriculum uses that, like definitely, like, you play with dice and everything. But this is like pictures of it and they're really like talking about the concept of like how it makes it easier when the numbers are like ordered in a certain way and you grow to like accustomed to seeing them. And then it has them kind of guess how many there are. And that is something that Math with Confidence does. Okay, I'm going too far into like a comparison video right now. I need to not do that. So anyway, I just like that. I like that it does this in this way. I feel like it is giving me a new way of explaining the same type of concepts and things that he does in other curriculum. And I just really like that. So I'll just give you guys like a few more pages. You could just pause and look at, see if this is a good curriculum for you to try. And don't forget, I will have it linked down below for you guys. I will link like the individual ones and then I'll link the package I found where it was 2 and then the package of 4. And you guys can see like the different prices and everything. Okay, so let's kind of move on. Oh, they use 10 frames, which obviously is a wonderful thing. I like that. That's an important part. They call them 10 strips. And then they have like the hundreds chart, and they're talking about the hundreds chart, which is always good. Oh, and then I thought these were cool and looked a little bit tough. So, you know, my son knows how to count, like I said, very easily. He can count by 2s, 5s, 3s, like it comes easily to him. But this is different. So it's like, you need to figure out where to put the numbers. It's not just counting. You need to think, okay, this is 69, this is 67, this is 65. What goes here? What goes there? You know what I mean? And they give you an example. So it's a little bit more of like complex thought, I feel like. And then they give you a ton of problems, which in math, you know, it's all about the practice problems. It's all about the more you do something, the better you'll get. I took calculus in college, 1, 2, and 3, and I would just do a ton of practice and problems. And by the time I got to the test, it was so easy for me because I would do like a ton of problems. And so I like that it gives that, because maybe your kid doesn't need it and you can just move on. But if they need some extra practice, like that never hurts with math. Math is so foundational too, which is why I didn't have a problem like kind of going back a level with this. Let's see, counting cards, practice counting skill with a complete deck of cards. Okay, so we love using cards. We love playing card games and stuff. So this looks like a really fun activity. I love that. Like, I am loving this curriculum, you guys. I think this is so cool. Oh, and this is fun too. This is very active, great for little boys or just kids in general. How many times can you do a jumping jack, bounce a ball? And so then you write how many you did. How long can you? My boys are always asking me to time them. So I really like that it has that. That's a really fun activity as well. Okay, and then it moves on to chapter 2, which is shapes. Okay, which my first grader, he knows shapes, but obviously this goes more in depth. So it has, that's cool. Not triangles. Has the comic book, square, and then it goes into the problems. So connect the dots to match each rectangle below. So this is something cool that we've kind of done before, but I like how it's a lot of practice, a lot of problems, and different than we've done before, different ways of doing it. Regular shapes. Regular shapes have sides and corners that all look the same. Practice drawing some regular shapes. So gives you an idea of what they are, and then just some practice drawing them, which I don't think like it hurts, like especially like a pentagon or something, like that's not necessarily easy to do. And they just kind of give them these dots, but you have to line them up like they did. So I think that's really good practice. I like that a lot. Oh, and then it goes, oh, and my first grader, he loves to try to draw cubes. So I think this is fun for him to just try to draw this stuff. Gives him a little bit of help, which is nice for a first grader. Then back to the comic book. Okay, so let's see. So that's shapes. And then the last chapter, that looks cool, is comparing. So see, that looks like a lot of fun. Something like a comic book that my boys read currently, a picture that they would have in it. So, or my first grader for sure. Okay, so now we're comparing things. This looks cool. I like this. So it says, we can ignore the markers with caps. Those have the same number of caps as markers. Then there are 5 more markers, but just 4 more caps. So there are more markers than caps. I love that. And that is definitely like, we deal with this. Like my kids leave the caps off their markers and lose them and all that. So it's a very like realistic example. But how interesting to think of things that way, comparing. So I love that. Let's get to the first lesson on comparing. So if you can match every item from one group with exactly one item from another group, then both groups have the same number of items. 2 amounts that are the same are equal. Okay, so this is like comparing, if they're the same, are they equal? And it really gives a good visual representation. Oh, and then they have like ideas of making it more difficult, like try to solve the problems in this selection without any counting. So that's cool.
Okay, so I don't want to show y'all like the whole book because I don't think that's like appropriate or, you know. But I think you guys get the idea. I love it. I think it's so cute. I love like this cartoony stuff. It doesn't bother me because it's something my kid will like and be interested in. So comparing the lengths of the paths drawn below. Okay, so let's see what's at the end. Oh, okay, so it gives you answers if you need them, which you might not at this level, but you might. So that's cool. Okay, so that's 1A. And then moving on to 1B, which I think is a little bit thicker than 1A, a little bit bigger, I think. Okay, so 1B, let's see what 1B is about. So it goes on to the next chapter. So the 1A was 1, 2, and 3, then 1B is chapters 4, 5, and 6. Addition, subtraction, and categories. So this is the table of contents, if you want to pause it and look at that. There's the characters again. This I think is just like the intro that they put probably in most of the books. This I loved because this is just so my kids right now. Like they are playing cards literally right now, my 3 boys, and I'm sure they would love like a real poker table. They like to play poker. They're playing Go Fish, it says, but my kids actually play Texas Hold'em like poker. So anyway, okay, let's see. So addition all together. So to add 2 amounts, we find the total when they are put together. For example, on the dice below, there are 4 dots on one and 3 dots on the other. So they use dice for the examples, which I like. You count a total of 7 dots on both sides. So when we add 4 dots and 3 dots, we get 7 dots. When you first learn to add small numbers, you can count all the items in both groups to find their total. But with practice, you'll just know that 4 and 3 make a total of 7. See, I just like they're very simple. Like this is not, you know, all over the place. It's not super wordy. It's very simple and like succinct, but it's like, it explains it perfectly. I feel like that explained addition so much better than I've seen. Like just so simply explained it. So I really like that. And so then you have some practice with some dice adding. For each problem below, fill in the number of purple dots, green dots, and total dots. Okay, that's cool. See, that's so unique. I love that. Very unique. Okay, then back to the comic book. Uh-oh, my kids are fighting. Which I will give y'all, you can pause it and read this. You just want to see what the comic book is about. Okay, so we're probably gonna have to speed this video up as usual because my kids are fighting, but I'm just so excited about this. What's up, Jack?
Are you done with your book?
I'm almost done. Why? What's wrong?
5.
Then how many times do you want to do it?
14 times.
14 times? That's a lot of times.
No, it's not. I just want to do it that much.
2 times.
2.
Okay, go do 2.
I want to do this much of 2.
Okay, I'm almost done. Okay, go.
Henry?
20 and beyond. Now you see what happens when you add 10 to some... This is my life, guys. Okay, finish the pattern. Add 10 to each number. Okay, so that's some of the addition, and then I will flip to subtraction real quick. So this is chapter 5, subtraction. Okay, so this is like a little bit of the comic book. And then goes into explaining subtraction. And I feel like I haven't been supported enough in like teaching my son like subtraction and addition and like just the why and the more like complex thought behind it all. And so I feel like this curriculum definitely is supportive of that, taking away 10. Okay, and then we'll go over to the last chapter, which is chapter 6, categories. So then it does categories. Odd one out. That's what this comic book says. interesting. It says same and different. Practice looking for things that are the same and things that are different about items or groups of items. Isn't this just different and interesting, this curriculum? I am just loving it, you guys. Absolutely loving it. These are, oh, some hints. Interesting. Categories review. Okay, so they do have like review pages. So, all right, anyway, that is a flip through of Beast Academy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you feel like it was helpful, please give it a thumbs up. That just supports my channel, lets YouTube know that you enjoyed it. Maybe comment down below. Tell me if you've used Beast Academy before or what your favorite math curriculum is. If you would ever try like a comic book based curriculum, would that turn you off to it or make you think, oh, my kid's gonna love this, and turn you on to it? Definitely let me know and subscribe. Click the bell to be notified when I post new videos. I'll see you next time. Bye.